Western Australia has reinstated strict border measures with South Australia after 18 new local COVID cases were recorded yesterday. Live to Holly Edwards-Smith in Perth. Holly, this change means there's now a hard border between the two states and basically is, well, the reaction from WA to South Australia deciding they will live with COVID.
Good morning, Tom. That's right. WA's border with South Australia has become upgraded to hard once more. So late yesterday afternoon, the Premier Mark McGowan announced on his Facebook page that from 12:01 this morning, Western Australia would be reclassifying South Australia as a moderate risk jurisdiction, which changes who is able to enter the state and the restrictions that are imposed on those who do. This time, the exemptions for approved travellers is quite slim. Obviously, it's a hard border for a reason, and I'll just read through who is allowed to enter WA from South Australia. That would be certain government officials, active military personnel, a member of the Commonwealth Parliament, or people on parliamentary Commonwealth duties, as well as specialist functions and anyone with permission by the State Emergency Coordinator. There are also exemptions for West Australians who have travelled to South Australia and are wishing to return home, but they will also have to have a negative PCR test 72 hours before travelling, be fully vaccinated and complete 2 weeks quarantine in a suitable premises. And this is because of the ongoing COVID situation in South Australia, which has seen, yesterday we saw the state record 19 new cases, and 16 of those were linked to what's being labelled the Norwood cluster, which is related to a high school reunion on Saturday, which saw the former South Australian Premier Jay Weatherall test positive. WA always closely monitors outbreaks in other states, and as we edge closer towards our high levels of vaccination and see our borders open, it's just gone to show that the government will continue to monitor those situations just as carefully as they have done throughout this pandemic. Mark McGowan has always spouted that he is a cautious premier. Yesterday he spoke before the announcement to upgrade South Australia. Before the decision to upgrade South Australia was made, and he was still spouting just how cautious he wants to be until we open up.
They've adopted a different approach. They've adopted a less cautious approach. We're far more cautious, and I think the evidence is that caution works. So being cautious is the right thing to do.
Sure.
The 19 cases in South Australia come just 9 days after they opened to fully vaccinated travellers. And here in WA, we're edging closer to a 77% double dose vaccination rate, which means we might be able to find out when we'll open to the rest of the country sometime maybe next week, or at least by mid-December at the current predictions, and that date will be sometime in late January or early Feb. But at the moment, only restricted access from South Australia into WA is permitted, and the only two states which are classified as a very low jurisdiction at the moment and only require an approved G2G pass is Tasmania and Queensland.
Holly, thank you.